Welcome back everyone to our Let's Play series of Motorsport Manager. Now I'll let you know that if before we get started with the race, that if you have not watched the video that I released probably about a week ago at this point about my thoughts after 100 plus hours, please go ahead and watch that before you watch this, because it'll give some context as to how we got to where we are starting this video. Also, the video I did just a few days ago about my practice strategy and how I view practice sessions and what I try to do during a practice session, it leads right into this video. The practice session that I filmed for that video was actually at this race. So it leads very nicely into the beginning of this video. So again, if you haven't watched those two videos, it would probably be a good idea, because it'll give you some context as to how we got here, because we've now moved into Tier 1. But this is not race 1 of our first season in Tier 1. I made a detour because of some things that were starting to feel like a grind in the game, and I decided to go sort of off script and have some fun for a little while. And those videos go into a little bit more detail about that. So with that out of the way, this should be a great first race for Tier 1. Again, for filming purposes, for our Let's Play series, the first race anyway. And the reason is, look at the weather here. The weather for most of the probably first 4 laps are for inters, but that second bar there is full wets, which means inters are going to be terrible on that particular lap. But I think inters are going to be a good enough option for the first roughly 4 laps, depending on how quickly we move through these bars, and if it maintains course as it's shown on the screen. Then I'm going to take a chance here. It's enough that I'm going to take a chance. Remember, this is all about fun now. We've done Tier 3, we've done Tier 2, we've won races, we've won championships, we've done all that stuff. I want to have some fun. Let's take some chances here. And so our bonuses, we've got some great bonuses here for Laura, who is getting a 50% faster refueling, and also faster pit stops have a minus 15% mistake chance, which essentially means that the normal pit stop and the fast pit stop are now the same as far as mistake chance, which is awesome. That saves us anywhere from 4 to 6 seconds usually on pit road per pit stop. So that is an awesome bonus for me. Then we got race trim bonus here, and then we're using super overtake mode. Again, if you watched the practice session strategy video that I released a few days ago, then you'll know that I was really unsure of which bonus I was going to go with. Because of the rain, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to use the bonus for either of the soft tires. So we're going to give this a shot. I've never used this bonus before, so we're going to see how it works. Maybe we'll get to use it, maybe we won't. It depends on how things go. Let's take a look at our setup. You can see I've already changed the tires to full intermediates. Now, I'm using only 7 laps of fuel. Now, that would only give us, realistically, because of the engine mode we're going to use, about 6 laps. Okay, because I'm going to use the high engine mode, because I know the intermediates are not going to work after, again, if things go according to plan, after about lap 5 to 6. So I'm being a little bit generous here with the fuel, just in case the rain, the full wet conditions don't come on as soon as I'm thinking. But we're going to go in full attack mode here at the beginning. Again, until we get to that second bar, then I'll probably have to back off, because attacking while we're under full wet conditions isn't going to be worth it. And then we're going to go high on both engine modes. All right, so let's get this race started. All right, let's spin our camera around, and we'll see who gets off to the better start here. Remember, we're in full attack mode here. And already my guy is just playing follow the leader here at the back. Actually, they're both lady drivers, but all right, so it looks like Laura is off to a much better start, and very quickly we're getting into full. Okay, we really got into that second bar quicker than I thought we might. I thought we might get a full lap there. Okay, so now we're going to be slower than the pack. This is where the fun comes in. All right, we're slower than the pack while we're in this second bar. But as soon as we come out of that, okay, drivers are hollering. They want to come in full wets. All right, now we're into the second bar. We go into full attack mode once again. We only need these tires to laps, about 4 to 6 laps. So let's go ahead and have them push, and let's see what we can get. So we didn't even get, under full wet conditions, we didn't even get a full lap in. So very interesting how quickly we move through. All right, we're in conditions where intermediate should be the preferred tire. So all right, we're catching the rear of the field very quickly, and our guys should be attacking. This is one thing, it drives me nuts here. All right, now there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, why are we not going to the inside and attacking there? I'm not sure. That drives me nuts. Full attack mode, let's go. There we go. All right, so how much are we going to be able to get out of these tires? Remember, these guys are wearing down their wet tires. Okay, so now we're coming in. So we've moved up. We've used this to move up from 19th and 20th, I believe, were the two starting spots we had, maybe 18th and 20th, to now we're right on the edge of the top 10. Okay, and we've also got a crash, but it's not even a virtual safety car, much less an actual safety car. All right, so what I'm going to do now is we're coming in on time for full wets because Laura is out in front. I'm going to let her continue right now. And because she's a little bit easier on tires, I'm going to go ahead and bring in our number 1 driver and put on full wets. So now what we've done is we're going to have fresher tires as we get into what I would call more full wet conditions. I tell you what, I'm actually going to, let's see, how far apart are we on track? Because I don't want to stack us up in the pits if I can possibly help it. Yeah, it looks like I'm sort of backed into a corner here because I don't want to wait and come in next time because I will be too late in coming on the full wets for my last car. So I'm going to have to spread this out. Let's go ahead and do it that way. Okay, so we'll set up the pit stop here and full wets. Let's go ahead and put on, I don't think I can last much longer than this on those. Again, we'll put in a little bit of extra fuel. We're going to have to come back on to intermediates probably around lap 10. Remember, we're going super aggressive here. We're just going to have some fun with this and see what happens. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. All right, so we've got our pit stop all set. We'll swap over to Laura. Okay, there goes the pit stop. And for some reason, Laura is not being super aggressive on the track right now. She's stuck behind drivers for some unknown reason. Okay, let's go ahead and take this off and go into neutral mode there. And we're going to set up our pit stop right here, full wets, as we're now getting into full wet conditions. You could argue that it was all full wet conditions from the very beginning, but okay, let's go with some fuel there. Park condition is fine. And we're going to go with the fast pit stops because the risk, so as you can see how much time we have that we can save. Okay, let's go ahead and take this down to neutral and let's see how we do. Okay, so you're going to come out well ahead. Yeah, that's the, well, maybe not so far ahead of our other driver. So now we're on both wet tires. We're going to need to make these last about 6 or so laps, maybe. So let's see how they do. This is much farther than behind than I wanted us to be, but let's see how it all works out. Remember, they're wearing their tires out, so I'm not sure if they're going to be able to make it without having to come in and make an extra pit stop. But we'll see, because their tires are definitely getting worn. All right, we're catching the back of the pack here. Let's see how these guys are doing. Okay, nobody is pushing. All right, nobody's come in to change tires yet, which makes sense based off of the wear numbers over here on the side. All right, we've caught the back of the field. What I'm more concerned with is how we are relative to the front of the field, which the answer to that is not good because they are pulling ahead. All right, we should be passing these cars. Okay, we got some, well, just one looks like came in for new tires there, but in the next lap or so, the rest are going to come in. Now, the question is, what do they come in and put on? I would imagine, put on inters. Okay, it looks like I see several inters and some dry weather tires. Wow. All right, now you've got into a problem. How long do we stay on full wets? Well, both cars are very close together. All right, I think what I'm going to do here is go ahead and run an extra lap or so before I put on the dry weather tires. The question will become, as we roll the dice here, how long will these wet weather tires last? Okay, you can see here, all right, we're going to pit this time by. Yeah, we're going to pit this next time by, I think. Depends on how I decide to do this. We're going to go ahead and push with both cars. All right, we're definitely into intermediate range. I just don't want to make that extra pit stop for only a lap or two. All right, so here we go. We're going to come in first. And how many laps do we have left? We have 6 laps remaining. So I'm going to go on the soft tires. And we're going to put in just enough. That should get us to the end. It says 5 laps remaining. We may use that super overtake and find out exactly how that one does. Okay, let's go ahead. So that's our first one. And in the meantime, again, I would have actually preferred, yeah, because you can see we're losing tons of time. I'm actually not sure why it's quite that slow, but all right, so now we're going to have, okay, we're going to push extremely hard there. And we'll set up our pit stop here. Soft tires, fuel options. We're going to have 4 laps. That should be plenty of fuel there. Very quick pit stop, and all right, so this has been interesting. I'm actually enjoying this. Now, who knows how it's going to turn out for us, but I am actually thoroughly enjoying this. All right, so we've got 4 laps remaining. Let's see how we come out. Okay, let's swap back over to the driver that is in front. And let's see, where are we on the track? We are about to catch 4th place. All right, so the leaders are in the pits now, and they're going to get out before we can catch them, I believe. Actually, we're going to be right there with them. Okay, let's go ahead and use that super overtake. Let's see what that does to at least allow us. All right, so we're right here with the leaders now. All right, so we got 2 laps. I'm not sure if we're going to have enough there. We may come back to that. But for now, we're going to go into simply the regular overtake mode. All right, so same thing here. Let's go into overtake mode. All right, so the top 2 positions, as we enter the final lap, there's nothing else to do here except for full attack mode. Now, I don't want to go full attack mode here because there's too much distance there to really make it worth it, I think. So we're going to use the entire tire as much as we possibly can. I think we got enough to use the super overtake mode as far as fuel, so we're going to do it. I don't think we're going to be able to get to them, but let's see. And no, we didn't quite make it. So we're going to come home 3rd and 6th. Not exactly what I was hoping for, but it was definitely tons of fun. And that was the main focus for the race. I already knew that we really didn't have the speed to beat Steinman head to head, but I was hoping that we could use a little trickery on the tires and bring it home anyway. Didn't quite turn out for us. But at the end of the day, we had a chance to win. I mean, we were on the same straightaway with the leader, even after all the craziness we went through to make it happen. So you can see they started on wets and ran 10 full laps. Now, I don't have the ability to run 10 laps on wets, particularly with this driver. But very interesting, the strategy they chose. We chose a different one for the fun of it, and it almost worked out in our favor. Again, we were very close there at the end. So to catch you up on where we are as far as the championship, we get the third place finish. That gets us our bonus. Okay, we'll take our third place finish for now. So in the driver's standings, we currently sit first and fourth right now. Now, this is a little bit misleading, as well as the team championship standings that we'll see next. And the reason is, at the very beginning of the season, the Steinman guys had a couple of wrecks. We actually had Laura wrecked in one of the races, but the Steinman guys had some bad luck. So that's why I'm able to be in the lead right now. So, and the misleading part is that we don't have the speed to be the number one driver in car combination right now. So if you come over and look here, you see that they've actually been eating into this lead pretty aggressively. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can pull off a championship. We'll see beginning in the next video how what the car looks like and how strong it is versus the other cars on the grid, and get into parts development and all that kind of thing. But for now, you can see we're 9 of 16 rounds into the season, and we're at least in the hunt for a championship, even though we don't have the best car or best drivers. So this should be interesting as we attempt to get our very first Tier 1 championship. Let's go ahead and finish up the last few screens here and see how much money we were able to come away with. If you watched the video where I posted my thoughts after 100 plus hours in the game, you'll know that while I was having fun playing around with some different combinations of drivers and all that kind of thing, I was able to make anywhere from generally $2 to $2.5 million per race. And I can show you that now we're in that same general area, somewhere between $2 and $2.5 million per race. And the reason for that is because we are now able to attract 5-star sponsors, which pay very nicely. And again, we'll take a look at that in future videos as we get back to more of my regular style of video. But thank you very much for joining me in this Let's Play episode, and stay tuned for more Motorsport Manager.